My name's Rob Rausch.
That's perfect.
Rob is bad.
But Rob is right.
This is gonna be great going home.
I'm the animal care specialist at Out Reptiles.
Is that urine? Yeah. Smell it.
Which basically means if it deals with an animal, I do it. Or manage it. Or take care of the managing of it. Making sure all the snakes are in good, healthy, happy conditions before the breeding season starts, during the breeding season, after the breeding season, pretty much all the seasons.
Rob is obviously just a tremendous asset. Every time we turn the camera on him, he just brings an energy and a level of fun that I am quite frankly not capable of.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I lived somewhere where we had garter snakes, and I started catching them and playing around with them. I was never allowed to keep them, and I followed that rule mostly. Once I started interacting with snakes, then I wanted a snake. I wanted a pet snake, and at the time, ball pythons had just come on the scene, and they weren't real good eaters, weren't real good healthy-wise as far as being in captivity, but that's what I wanted. My mom and dad got me one when I was 14 or 15. I think 15. And then it was the next year I met a man named Brad McCarthy who just happened to live 20 minutes away from my house. He's been doing it since the 70s. Great guy. Known him now for going on 28 years. You know, been into snakes for 29 years. Kind of makes it revealing on how old I am, but you know, it just kind of grew. 16, I might have had 20, 25 snakes. 18, I probably had over 30. Then I moved, didn't quite get out of it, but got rid of a lot of them. And then about 12 years ago, I decided I'm gonna start breeding them. So I got a couple of ball pythons. First year was successful. Loved it, never looked back. This is a really weird Superdwarf, because it's not a Superdwarf. This is the black African house snake. Like, look at that head. It just doesn't look like anything else. It looks like a little tiny Superdwarf retic. An even smaller version. Based on her size and the limited experience that I have, I would say that she's probably 2 years old, maybe a year old, but she's an absolute sweetheart. They don't musk, they don't bite. They're head shy, obviously, as you can see, but just the coolest little snake. The African house snake, I didn't know a lot about. 6 or 7 years ago, I thought about getting one because they look pretty cool, seen them at a show, but I didn't know anything about it. Fast forward a few years, I start working at Out Reptiles, and Garrett has African house snakes, and I started to interact with these things and started to care for them and understand them. And I just fell in love. I want to make house snakes the biggest and baddest snake out there as far as the first reptile pet. I think they have the potential to outdo the ball python or come close to it. Some of my stuff is just completely random. I have what I hope to be 1.2 in here. Well, you can't tell until they're a little bit older as to their sex. These guys will get a little bit of size and we'll be able to tell what they are. They're just cool. They're really soft. As you can see, they jump. The way they hold on with these tiny little micro hairs, but they also have claws so they can climb up fabric and at the same time hold on to skin. So in this cage, I actually have a Pine Island lychee that is hiding in this pool noodle. Really difficult to get them out of there. So hopefully we can grab some shots of them later. I just have one. It's a pet. No real plans to breed it ever. So that's a weird thing for me to have one that I'm not going to breed. This is where I get bit. Oh. This is the only ball python that I own. It's a female spinner. Spinner is a pinstripe spider. You know, I like ball pythons. They don't do much, they just kind of sit there. But this little girl, she just prefer to just sit like that all day. Ball python was the first snake I ever had. It was a normal. So ball pythons hold a special little spot in my heart, and I'll probably always have one, or I won't go long without one. And for right now, it's this little spinner. These are all Superdwarves and Dwarves. Bottom one is a Platinum Sunfire, 50% jamp. That might bite. This girl I bought as an adult. She has a little bit of a different temperament from some of the ones that I've raised since babies, but she is a new first-time breeder this year. She laid 30 eggs. We unfortunately lost 6 of them. We've gotten, I don't know, 18 or 20 of them out so far. And you got Sun Platinums, Sunfires, Normals, ones that look like they're gonna bite, probably because they have urine on their head. But they all just came out. They just came out within the last 3 days. They've been coming out. This is a 37.5% Superdwarf Tiger, 100% het pied. So this is going to be a nice future breeder female for me. This next one here is a pure Superdwarf. It's the Kiowati locality. They're known for their deep, rich oranges. They're a little bit on the bigger side, but nice females. Easily manageable. You leave that part in. Mainland retics. I only have 2 of those. This being one of them, which is a mocha, motley male. He's got some nice speckling on his head. Just a beautiful example of the mocha. I just noticed he has some pattern underneath his head on his bottom lip, which is not something that I've seen in retics. My favorite snake in my collection right now would be Karma, my big platinum girl. She's my favorite because she's just a gentle giant. I don't think there's a mean bone in her body. This is another female. This would be a Sunfire Annery. I don't know if you can see that green highlighter yellow that's coming out of this snake, but man, in person, this thing is almost unreal. She is 43.5% Kalatoa and 9.36 jamp. So a little bit of jamp in there. I think you can see that coming through in some of the pattern here. Just a splash of jamp is what I like. So this is a 75% Superdwarf Sunfire het Annery. So it's kind of like the last one, but it's not an Annery. It's just het for Annery. And that, in my mind, is the perfect Sunfire. Nice big white rosettes. Nice clean pattern. You're still getting those silver spurs or spears on the sides, but they're kind of diluted a little bit. They're not as big and as bright as some other ones. But look at all that green in there. Green and yellow. This is a 50% Superdwarf. Motley, Super Tiger, Posset Snow. But that is a really good example of a Super Tiger Motley. This is my place. Hope you guys liked it. If you want to see more of other places, click there. Deuces.